Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Thursday, 9 January. I'm your host Daniel and let's get into the brief. In today's update, we'll be covering the Lebanon's army chief has been elected president, Turkey threatens an offensive against Syrian Kurds, and Ukraine pushes allies for aid ahead of Trump's second term. So firstly, Lebanon's parliament has elected Army Chief Joseph Anu as the new president, ending a prolonged vacancy in the presidency and signalling a shift in the country's political dynamics. The election, which reflects the diminished influence of Hezbollah's following its setbacks in the 2022 war with Israel and the collapse of its ally Bashar al-Assad in Syria, also highlights the resurgence of Saudi influence in Lebanon. Anun, a Monarite Christian, as required by Lebanon's strict sectarian system, secured 99 votes in a second parliamentary round, which with backing from Hezbollah and the Amal movement. The election demonstrates a strong international consensus that Lebanon's political and financial recovery requires stable leadership, with Saudi Arabia and Western nations tying financial aid to Anun's presidency. Joseph Anun election marks a critical step in restoring governance in a country grappling with an ongoing economic crisis and institutional paralysis since 2019. As commander of the US-backed Lebanese army since 2017, Anun has fostered strong ties with Washington, ensuring continued military aid to counter Hezbollah's influence in the country. His immediate challenges include nominating a Sunni Muslim prime minister to form the government, a task that often faces significant political wrangling. Anun is also central to maintaining the ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, brokered by the US and France, which requires the Lebanese army to manage the southern border security. With Lebanon's recovery hinging on international support, Anun's presidency is seen as pivotal in rebuilding trust in the country's institutions and charting a path towards stability. This is a very positive sign for Lebanon and likely an indication that the situation could improve. While the ceasefire in the south currently appears to be at risk, it is possible that this political stability will be a positive factor in this aspect. Regardless, there are issues remaining with Hezbollah. Despite Iran's weakened state, they still hold significant power within the country. And next, Turkey has issued a stark warning of a potential military operation against the Kurdish-led People's Protection Units in Syria, unless they meet Ankara's demands of a bloodless transition following the fall of Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. The Turkish foreign minister emphasized that Ankara's patience is running out, stating, "We will do what is necessary," during an interview with a Turkish TV. Turkey accuses the YPG, which leads the US-allied Syrian Democratic Forces, of being a terrorist organization tied to the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, a group that is engaged in long-standing insurgency against Turkey. Fidan clarified that Turkey expects the Kurdish fighters and other foreign combatants from Turkey, Iran and Iraq to leave Syria, criticizing a lack of visible progress towards this goal. Turkey has a history of intervening militarily in Syria to counter the influence of the Kurdish forces near its border, conducting several operations in the past 9 years. With Assad's government recently overthrown by Islamist rebels, Ankara views the current instability as a chance to reshape the region according to their strategic interests. Fidan revealed that an ultimatum was issued to the YPG through US mediators, signaling Turkey's readiness to act if their demands are not met. So what? It seems unlikely that the Kurdish parts of Syria will peacefully lay down their weapons, and can anyone really blame them? It is likely that Turkey will continue to conduct operations against them regardless. However, US involvement in the region is likely going to be key in ensuring peace, with Turkey unlikely to attack any locations that contain US forces. Regardless, Turkey is not going to back down lightly, and it is likely that the situation will continue into a Trump presidency, which will be an interesting factor for them all to deal with. And lastly, Western allies have gathered at Germany's Ramstein airbase to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, focusing on bolstering Ukraine's air defense systems as the country faces intensified Russian aggression. Ahead of the summit, Zelensky emphasized the urgency of pushing Russian military aviation away from Ukrainian borders and cities. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken announced $500 million in additional military aid, including air defense missiles, air-to-ground missiles, and F-16 equipment. UK Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin reiterated the coalition's commitment to aiding Ukraine, highlighting the $65 billion in assistance so far. With President-elect Donald Trump set to take office in less than 2 weeks, Zelensky and allied leaders view the summit as a crucial moment to secure commitments amid concerns that Trump may reduce US support for Ukraine. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, however, expressed confidence that Trump would balance diplomacy and deterrence in handling the conflict. As the meeting unfolded, the conflict between Ukraine and Russia has intensified. Ukraine intercepted 46 Russian drones overnight, with Russia grappling with major fire caused by Ukrainian strike on an Air Force oil depot in Saratov, as mentioned yesterday. Meanwhile, Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region suffered heavy casualties, with at least 133 civilians killed in a Russian glided bomb attack. Zelensky acknowledged the looming change in US leadership, framed the situation as a pivotal moment for Europe and the world, calling for deeper cooperation among allies, while Trump promised to end the war swiftly. With concrete proposals, allied nations remain committed to sustained military aid to Ukraine, seeing this as a crucial period for shaping the outcome of the conflict. So what? Sadly, it is possible that this is just more words without actions by Blinken, as significant amounts of promised US aid has never made it to Ukraine. While air defense is essential to protect civilian areas and key infrastructure, more long-range missiles could be used to slow a Russian advance. However, these were not included in this most recent batch of aid. Sadly, without a significant boost in troop numbers, it seems unlikely that Ukraine will be able to mount a strong counterattack. But it appears likely that everyone is waiting for the arrival of Trump to see how this situation changes. Thank you for tuning in to the Intel Brief, your daily intelligence update brief on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. Support the show by sharing with your friends and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're curious to learn more about intelligence, you can check out our courses in the description below. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.